Hey, welcome to another episode of Ben African Cichlids. Today I thought we could talk about the Pseudotrophus yellowtail acei. That's actually one of my favorite Mbuna. We're going to talk about the care for them, what we feed them, how we raise them, the breeding group, the babies. I'll show you some of the eggs, and we can talk about that a little bit.
But before we do, you should like and subscribe because I'm so cute.
So, Pseudotrophus yellowtail acei is from Lake Malawi in Africa. It's an Mbuna. Mbunas are pretty aggressive, but this one is in the lower spectrum of the aggressiveness, so it's actually not too bad for an Mbuna, not too aggressive. They can actually be put with peacocks and haps because they're not too bad. They get pretty big. They get up to 8-inch breeding group, and here I think the biggest one is about like maybe 6.5 or 7-inch. Most of them are around the smaller one are about 4-inch. So yeah, anywhere from 4 to 7-inch in this tank. Those are actually the only Mbuna that like to school. So yeah, they'll stay in your tank if you have a mixed tank and you have like a few of them. Like let's say you have 3 or 4, then they're always going to hang out together or stay pretty close to each other in your tank. So because they're from Lake Malawi in Africa, the temperature of the tank should be anywhere from 76 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. I keep my tank at 78, and the pH should be 8, and yeah, the water should be hard. Okay, so what we feed them, so those are actually omnivore fish, but because of being an Mbuna, they're like algae grazers. Usually they graze algae all day on rocks, so I suggest really a high diet, a veggie diet mostly. So I feed mine, I'm not sponsored by anybody, I feed mine North Fin kelp wafers. That's how they start their morning usually, some kelp wafers in the tank in the morning, and then after that at night I'm going to feed them either tropical spirulina fort 36%, or sometimes I feed them North Fin cichlids flake. So those their body is actually like almost purplish blue when they're adult like this, and the more dominant they are, the bit darker they're going to be. If you do a water change, or if they're not dominant, like you can see the difference in between those here. This guy is not dominant, so he'll be more like a light purplish blue, while the one above him looks like almost black here. Sorry, tank is scratched because it's just like a 65-gallon breeding group tank in the fish room. But anyway, so that's a male here, and this guy is actually one of the bus in here, so he's really dark purple. The tail will never change color, just the body. And then here, they spit some baby in the tank the other day. I didn't have time to catch them. Hopefully this little guy gets out. Well, he's not coming out right now, but I'll show you something. Here's a female that's holding. She have her mouth full. They keep their babies. All Mbunas will keep their babies in their mouth brooder. I'm having trouble to say that, but anyway. So they keep the babies in their mouth for about 2 to 3 weeks, and then they'll spit them. Usually we catch them before they spit them, and then we make them spit in a egg tumbler. So that's a female with a mouth full. We just took some eggs from another one just a few days ago. The baby just came out. I missed it. He was just here. Oh, there he is. So this baby here is just a few weeks old, and he's about a quarter inch. It's funny because the Mbunas, aceys are actually one of the biggest Mbuna, and they get up to 8 inch compared to most of the Mbuna will get like up to 6 inch. But even though they're one of the biggest Mbuna, they make some of the smallest baby and some of the smallest eggs. But see this little guy here, you already have his fins that are yellow, and his body, you have some stripe on there, and he's a little bit clearer looking, but his body actually is faint blue purple. So even at small size, they color up pretty good. All the female and the male, you saw the one with the mouth full, like she's the same color than the male, and all this. You cannot tell their sex unless you vent them. We vented that breeding group. We actually raised half of them from babies, and we made it so that we have about like 3 or 4 male in there, and the rest of them are female. This breeding group is about 14 fish, I believe. Alright, we'll move out to the juvenile. I'll show you the juvenile. So that's the juvenile tank here. We put them in this tank when they're about 1 inch. At 1 inch we put the fish for sale usually, and then they get about 2 inch here, and usually we're sold out of them when they get to 2 inch. We don't let them grow up more than that. Try to keep this tank, because this tank is already always super stuck with them, so we constantly move them around. Lots of customers get them, and some fish stores too. This tank is about 40 gallon. I would say that usually in that 40 gallon we probably have like 50 to 60 babies in there. So yeah, lots of water change. We have a filter that is rated, that's the Seasham filter 110, so it's rated for 110 gallon. So yeah, we're over filtered this tank really good. As you can see, like, it's not that dirty in there, and yeah, the filter suck up most of the stuff. The breeding group tank, if I can back up a little bit here so you can see better. Breeding group tank is a 65 gallon, so it's 36 wide per 18 inch deep. That gives lots of floor space for the fish to breed, and we have a Pleco in there to clean up everything. He's the one that does all that poop in that corner. Okay, and then we'll move here. I'll show you what the eggs looks like. Let me turn on the light. Oh, there's a baby Pleco growing up in this tank. It's actually a 20 gallon tank, this one. So there's some in the egg tumbler here. Those are actually, they started to absorb the eggs almost completely now. We have them in the egg tumbler for about 1 week. Yeah, they've been in there since they were just little eggs with just little eyes on them. So that was all of those babies, that just from one female here. So I think that most of the time they give us about like 30 babies each, but We had one time one big female that was about, I would say 6 or 7, 8, and she gave us, I think it was 58 babies in one shot. So yeah, we'll leave them in the egg tumbler until they're done absorbing the egg sac, and then after that we're going to move them into a breeding container like this. Let them float the top of the tank. We do that so that it's easier for them to find the food. Those are not acei in there, they're solosis in there right now. We have lots of containers, so no problem to do that. And then yeah, after that they'll get out into a 20-gallon tank. So yeah, we'll either put them in a 20-gallon tank or we start them in a 5-gallon over here, or one of the 10-gallon here. And then it's also those tanks there, we like to use those size just so it's easier for them to find the food when they're super small. And then yeah, as soon as they reach 1 inch, then they move into the bigger tank and grow out for the customers to be ready for sale. So yeah, I think I wrapped up everything about those nice fish. You should try them. They're awesome. Yeah, let me know which kind of Mbunas are your favorite fish.